summarize everything that I've done, put the joystick on, 8 hoses custom made, and then the CT Attachment Grapple. I chose the CT Attachment Grapple because it was in stock and for $1,500 and it weighs like 195 pounds. Really good deal. I got it within 4 days of ordering it. After talking to them, they suggested a Summit hydraulic kit. There was one other company. I stuck with the Summit kit. It cost me $400. It was on sale at the time. That included the joystick and then the wires for that and the electronic diverter, or the hydraulic diverter. Now, the reason I went with a diverter versus a 3-function was the real turnoff to me with the 3-function was that since we don't have another control for it, it was all operated off of a switch. So it was basically on and off, or on, off, and on, off, which is open, close. And when you would turn it on, it would immediately clamp down, and then you'd have to turn it off to get it to stop clamping down, and then you'd have to push another button and it would open up. You had no real finesse control over it like you do with a diverter system that you can run off of your controls. So now you can push a button and you can gently clamp down if you need to, gently open if you need to, and that's what it really made me choose between a 3rd function or just a diverter, and that's why I chose the diverter. Now, I also had a guy come to the house. It was a mobile hydraulic service, hydraulic hose service. Because I did elect to use somebody like that, it was more expensive in the end. I could have gone to the shop. I could have got straight end fittings that just plugged in off of right angle fittings, and it probably would have been pretty inexpensive. I could have measured the hoses and got it just done. And because I got the hoses made with the 90-degree fittings and the 45s and made it pretty Gucci, it was a little bit more money. These fittings aren't cheap. It's like $20 at a right angle fitting, and so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of those. So you can do the math. It adds up pretty quick. The hose is really inexpensive. The other thing that I learned, that even if I wanted to have these 90-degree clamps put on, I wouldn't have been able to have it done at the store because they have to be indexed, and I guess that's just because of the way that the hoses are manufactured. Obviously you can't twist them, so as you're trying to find its position where it needs to be, it'll start binding itself up. So by having the guy here, he's able to put it in, mark his spot, go out, clamp it down, put it at the next spot, plug it in, index it, and then go back out and clamp it down. So it took a little bit more time, about 3.5 hours of him making the hose and making sure everything fit perfectly right for me. But now I've got what looks like something that would come from the factory and not just a kit that was put together. So you could probably do it for about the same price as other kits. I don't think that I saved any money. I'm probably pretty much even with it. And that's just because this joystick, if you wanted to add it to any other kit, it's $150 just for that. So if you want that and not just something that's attached to the side lever bar, then that's the way to go. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll get a video of it operating outside once I get time and show you how the CT attachment works. That top piston works pretty fast. At full dump, when it closes, it closes fast. So I'm glad that I have that small adjustments that I can do now with just the lever and not just the 3rd function on-off switch. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I apologize now with some of the verbiage that I used. I know it's not exactly proper verbiage of what things are called, so don't shoot me over that. And that's it. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you learned something like I did. This is a Summit hydraulic kit that I picked up. I got it for $3.95 on sale, so it was a significant savings over some of the other kits. The only thing that it doesn't come with is hoses. So hoses are something that you're going to have to source. I have a local hydraulic shop that can make me hoses, so I wasn't really concerned with that. So what you get with this kit is you get your hydraulic diverter, you get some fittings, looks like 2 90s and 8 straight O-ring fittings, 6 of the one size, I'm guessing 3/4, and then these are probably 3/8 or half. Anyways, you get 4 female couplers, 2 male couplers, and some extra hose caps. And then of course you got your relay, and then the joystick I got is this one. And the reason I wanted this joystick was it actually raises the height of your stock joystick for your bucket for the FEL. And then I've seen also these be modified to add more switches into here that you could do other implements with if you needed to do maybe for something else like a hydraulic 3-point or something. And then it came with, and you have to specify which one you wanted for the adapter for the lever, and this is a 10 1.25 pitch. So that's what you get with the kit. My plan is to trace the diverter onto a piece of paper, and then I will show you where I'm going to mount it. So I have a 1025R. This is a 2019 model, which I believe is the same for the last couple years. My plan is to mount it inside of the FEL right here. So I'm going to be required to drill 2 holes, and then I'll put the bolts through the back side of the FEL into the diverter. So that's my plan right now. What I'll do is I'm going to disconnect the front loader so I get more access in here. I could probably get in here with a right angle drill, but if it's so easy to detach, I'm just going to detach it. While it's detached, I'm going to go ahead and tackle the joystick as well. So I'll remove the knob, remove some of this stuff, get into the floor and the side of the tractor, get to the battery so I can hook the switch up for the diverter, and then screw that in. And that'll be the first step. Once I got that, I'll put it all back together so I can measure hose lengths, get that ordered in the next day or two from the shop, and then I'll finish the install. So the back side of this hydraulic diverter, actually these 2 ports are threaded, so that's going to be the side that obviously mounts against the inside of the FEL bracket. So my plan now is just to trace this loosely just so I get an idea of where it's going to fit on the inside of the FEL, and then what I'll do is I'll cut this little template out and mark the holes from the back side so I know where my drill points are. This doesn't have to be exact, it's just so that you can get a center point, so that when you look inside of that FEL, you can see that there's a support area in the middle. So you're going to have to center this perfectly, or else you're going to be drilling through a lot of material. So that's the idea for tracing it out and getting those hole patterns. Alright, so I disconnected the bucket FEL from the tractor, and I went ahead and cut out the template that I had traced with the diverter. And again, this was just so I had a piece of paper that I could get the general width of this, and then I'm going to mark my 2 holes. I think what I'm going to do with those is just get like a center punch and or a drill bit or something and hold it in one. Maybe I'll just screw the bolt through it. That might be easier. I don't have anything out. I have to go hunt for it. So anyways, the most simple step would be find your one location. And then find the other hole. So that's going to be the general idea where these 2 holes go. And obviously you can clean those up. And so what I'll do is I'll take this over to the tractor, mark my 2 spots, and drill some holes. Alright, so with that disconnected, the one thing to remember is that when this was transferred, you want to make sure that when you transfer this properly, that you don't reverse it. So this is going to be the side that needs to be on the bracket, and then this is the side that would be reversed. So if you were to take this straight off and think that you're just going to put it on like that, then you would essentially be drilling the holes in the wrong pattern. So make sure that you have it in the right orientation. And then on the back side here, if you look in here, right down the middle, there is where the material is in the cast for strength. So the goal is going to be to straddle that with both your holes. There's not going to be anything that's wild or crazy about lining it up. Just use your fingers and you should get pretty close. Obviously take into account where other things might be in the way, but I believe from when I looked at it on the tractor, somewhere about right here should be fine for it. So I'm going to put that there. I'm just going to put this on here. So in that orientation, the bottom side of the output is going to hit this bracket. So it's just something to think about when you're doing your fittings and your hoses. I'm not so worried about it. I'll bend this out of the way as long as I can get that where I want it. Maybe I'll raise it up just a little bit too. Right. That's a good spot right there. I mean, nothing's in the way here. Well, I guess that's gotta do what we gotta do, right? So that'll sit there. Yeah, I think it's fine. We'll drill those two spots. Alright, so I got here, I just have a step bit. I'm gonna go, the bolts are a M8. I don't know what the pitch is, but the step bit I'm using, 5/16 is roughly what the bolt will be. So I'm going to go to 3/8 on my step bit, and it should go all the way through. So that's why I'm choosing to use it. And then I can just work it in. Now this bit's dull as all heck. It's kind of just burning. I should have used some cutting oil. That's probably why it's dull. clear. Hex bolts should clear all of that. Alright, so the holes are drilled. So now I got these two holes. I got my two holes on the back of my diverter. These bolts are going to be too long. I already know they are, so I'm going to have to get some shorter ones. And I'm going to get some washers and stuff. This is just for fitting. And the other one should go here. Look at that. So I'm just going to finger tight these for now. I'm going to probably take this off while I do the other work anyways, and then I'll reattach to everything once it's back on the 1025. So, yeah, so these are about ½ an inch too long. I could probably just cut them down, I suppose. But anyway, so that's where that's going to sit. It's obviously these bolts are too long, so it's not holding it in. But that's where that's going to sit right there. The diagram will show. They sent a small one. I printed out a larger one. So looking at it this way, I've got my power coming in from here. So from the tractor hydraulics, we'll have black at the top, yellow at the bottom. The stock location will go on this side here. So these are going to be for the original curl and the dump. And then these two right here are going to be what control the grapple's auxiliary. So when I press the buttons, these will operate. When I don't have the button pressed, then it'll come from here. And then obviously these are for the power 1 and 2. So that's kind of the diagram that I'll be following, which is pretty simple. They send it to you. I printed it off the website so I could write on it, and it's a little bit larger. So let's go to the tractor side now and start working on the lever.